Whew, memory cards, memory cards. Look at this. Like that case? It's a Sony Alpha case. No, I just put like a Sony Alpha sticker on it. It holds some of my memory cards, a lot of them. And if you want this case, I love this case. It's like a hard plastic. Links are in the description below. But today I'm going over what SD cards do I suggest for the a7c here, because if you're getting an a7c, you might, that's a question I see a lot. Well, what card should I get? I mean, I see it with the a7S3. What card should I get? People want to know what to get in their cards because it's storing all the memory and all the photos. Is it fast enough? And today I'm going to answer that for sure with the a7c. You don't need to be spending a ton of money on cards. What's up, guys? If you're new here, my name is Paul and I run a channel that inspires other creators of your futures, whatever you make it, and I do that through gear reviews and tutorials, and I talk a lot about Sony cameras. And today we're going over the a7c and what cards do I suggest for this. It's a single card slot camera, so this should be pretty easy. We're gonna narrow it down to one card, only one card, because you can't use two. Well, I'm gonna give you some options though. And the first card, and I suggest this, of course, like any camera that, like the a7c, the Sony zv-1, this is a perfect card, all-around card, and for a number of reasons that I'm gonna get into. This SanDisk Extreme Pro. I always suggest people to get the 128 gigs because it's just nice to be able to shoot a full day's worth of shots, video, photography, whatever, and not have to change cards a lot. And I think even a wedding videographer or photographer could get away with possibly a 128 gigs. I've never shot a wedding for photos before, but for video, you can totally get away with a 128 gig card for the entire day. I guess it really depends on what camera you're shooting with for photos and all that stuff. We're talking about the a7c right now, so you could get away with anything for 128 gigs with this thing. For full day, no problems. I've done it multiple times. Actually, it's more than enough for me for one day in most cases, and I can shoot a few days until I offload them onto my computer. Now, there's two versions of this card. There's the new version, which is like the 170 megabits a second, and then there's the old version that's 95. Not a real big difference. I think SanDisk just put a bigger number on there to make them look cooler, but you're not really gonna notice a performance difference. So if you find the old 95 megabits for a second in a legit store, I gotta say that on Amazon, I never really trust online stores unless they're straight from Amazon, or I don't really trust third parties. eBay, people always put like fake cards in there. So if you're buying SD cards on this list, it's gotta be from a legit store, and that's what I'm going to put links down in the description below for. They have really good customer support. I've never had one fail on me, so to speak, but I had the plastic kind of crack on it, and I contacted SanDisk and said, the plastic broke. Now, I'm pretty positive it was just from me actually putting this in the case the wrong way, or maybe, you know, I hit it kind of at a weird angle when I was putting it in my camera, and I probably caused it to crack and get worse over time. But SanDisk didn't question me at all. They stood behind their product and they sent me a brand new one. I had the 95 one and they sent me the 170, so I guess that's what they're sending out now. But it's a great card. It's fast enough for everything you need, and it's affordable. It's at like 33 bucks for this 128 gig, and you really can't go wrong. Now, if you need a cheaper card that performs as well, in my opinion, there's this PNY. It's their Elite Performance card. Now, this card suffered from the very similar problem that I had with the SanDisk card. I don't know if I'm just rough with my cards or if I had bad luck, but it started cracking around the edges. And I was like, oh, well, I just replace the SanDisk for the same problem. Maybe PNY will have the good customer service just like SanDisk and send me out one, no questions asked. They did yes and no. I mean, they did, because I got it right here, a brand new one they sent me in the bag. But what exactly happened with this one? Well, first of all, they didn't make me send this card back. The SanDisk, I had to send the old SanDisk back, and they sent me another one. This one, they just didn't ask me any questions. I sent them some pictures, and they said, listen, you put the card in wrong, you broke it yourself. It's not really covered on our warranty, but we will send you a new card free of charge just this one time, but you're not gonna get the warranty. So they did replace it. They kind of blamed it on me and said that I did something wrong with this card, which I mean, I guess it's possible, but I mean, these cards aren't super strong. I mean, they're about the same, but I don't know, I feel like SD cards are very fragile, with the exception of the last one. I'll get to that. At the end of the day, they sent me one. I thought it was really great in their customer service. As far as that's concerned, maybe not necessarily as good of customer service as SanDisk, because they just sent me one, no questions asked. They didn't say, hey, we're not gonna honor the warranty on this new card anymore. They did that with this one. They said this one has no warranty, so if anything breaks with it or if it fails, there's no warranty. I'm an SOL with this one. So there is that, but they didn't collect this one. I mean, it still technically works. I'm kind of weary about putting it in the camera with it being like a little cracked like that, but it still functions, so I could still use it. Another card that I'm gonna mention, but they don't sell it anymore. If you can find this card from a legit person, like I said, you should jump on it. It's this Lexar 1800X card. It's a V90 rated card. It's fantastic. So I'm sure the V60 would work great for the a7c. And they both come with these little, like, even though it's a micro card, you can use it in micro devices, but then it comes with a little adapter, and you put it in there, and it works great. It's a UHS 2 card along with the V60 version, which they do still sell. It works great in my a7S III. So if you're looking for a little bit more beef, a little bit more like bra, I mean, you don't really need it for the a7c, because this card really does everything you need and utilizes as much speed as it probably would get. But I feel like the rate of return your investment, you're just getting a faster card to export to your computer, not necessarily write to your card. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. This card is amazing. I love this card so much. I just got a set of these from like Sony Rewards, and man, you cannot break these. I have the G1 too, the 32 gig that I got from Camera Camp. If you guys know about Camera Camp, it's a little soft to my heart. But oh, you cannot break this thing. Like, freaking destructible. I mean, I could like throw this on the ground and it would survive. And I think this one is definitely not going to crack on me. So if you've had SD cards crack on you, maybe you're like me and I don't know, I feel like I'm not that harsh with them, but I've had 2 cards crack on me in like this last month, so it's been a bad month. This card is fantastic. If I could get all these, I would. It's just they're a little bit more expensive. Now, I use these for my a7S III because I need the speed performance of these V60 cards to shoot in a lot of formats. But for the a7c, you do not need the speed out of this card. So literally, if you're getting this card, you're just getting it because you want the toughness. If you want the toughness, get it. They're awesome. They're a little bit more beefy, but and it has a little bit hard time. Like sometimes one of my SD card readers, I gotta like pull it in and out a few times. Just I think it's because it's so big that sometimes it like it's not really all the way in there, and I don't know. That's what she said. But it works. It still works great. These things are fantastic. I love these tough cards. Like I said, if money was no object, I would just load up on a bunch of these. The M tough cards, the cheaper one, not the G ones. G ones are crazy. But these V60 M cards are not that much more when you compare them to other V60 cards. But I'd rather load up on these SanDisk cards all day long versus getting this tough card for functionality. If you're on an a7c, this is really honestly the way to go. Or if you want to save 10 bucks or so, get the PNY. I've never had any problems with these cards. I've had a few of them. They work great. They've never died on me. They're still kicking it. I mean, like, this one would still be kicking in if I didn't crack it. So, I don't know. Those are my suggestions. I see them all the time in the Facebook groups. What card should I get for my camera? Honestly, they're just in that order. SanDisk, if you're feeling cheaper, PNY. But if you're feeling really beefy on your wallet or you were rough with your cards, get the Sony Tough, because you will not regret that. They will last forever until they fail, which I've never had a card fail on me. I don't know if I just don't shoot enough or what, but now watch, I'm gonna go home this week and all my cards are gonna fail me. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But hey, if you guys like this kind of content, join the family, subscribe for more videos, hit that like button, do all the fun YouTubey things, and you guys know that I will see you in the future. This is one long freaking video. How long can you talk about SD cards, Paul? Because you are talking about, I mean, there's just 3 cards. I could like fling them in the air and like swim in a pool of SD cards if I was that rich. SD cards are so